Hello everyone, this is Sana Kulkarni. Today again we are going to discuss the continued part of the chapter Moving Charges and Magnetism in this session 6. So first of all, in this session we are going to discuss regarding what is the force between two parallel conductors carrying current. This is a very important derivation. Surely you are going to get it for 5 marks. So for that, the two conductors I have considered, the two diagrams also you can observe, both the diagrams are same. So here we have to consider two parallel conductors, that is long parallel conductor P and Q, which are separated by a distance d, and the current I1 and I2 which is flowing respectively between the conductor P and Q, and the magnetic field B1 that will be produced due to the conductor P at a site of Q, that will be given by B1 is equal to mu naught by 4 pi, it is 2 I1 divided by d, and the current I1 which is moving towards the left side, then the B1 is always acting towards the outwards. Then the conductor Q which carries a current I2 and a magnetic field is B1, and hence the segment of length L of the conductor Q that will experience a magnetic force. Just to understand here, the conductor Q which carries a current I2 and the magnetic field B1 here, because we are seeing that is a conductor P at a site of a conductor Q. Therefore, a conductor Q, of course it will be carrying current I2, but the magnetic field it appears as a B1, and the small segment of a length that is L of that conductor that will experiences a magnetic force, and that magnetic force will be given by F1, that F1 is equal to ILB sine theta form, that I is replaced by I2 here because that F1 will be produced on the current I2, L as it is, B is replaced by B1 because magnetic force for F1 it will be B1 sine theta. Therefore, generally the equation will be written as F1 is equal to I2L B1 sine theta, and here theta is equal to 90 degree because both the force as well as the magnetic field are perpendicular to each other. Therefore, F1 is equal to I2L as it is. Substitute the value for B1, that B1 is mu naught by 4 pi 2 I1 divided by d into sine 90 degree. Sine 90 is 1, therefore F1 is equal to mu naught by 4 pi 2 I1 I2 L divided by d. So this is the force on the conductor P. The same force that will be experienced for the conductor Q at a site of P, that just we can observe here. Similarly, the conductor Q that is also carrying current I2 and which will produce a magnetic field B2 due to the conductor Q at a site of the conductor P, that will be given by B2 is equal to mu naught by 4 pi 2 I2 divided by d. And the force how it will be produced, if the direction of current I2 is towards the left, the magnetic force that will be given by again F2 is equal to, here instead of I2 it is I1 L B2 sine theta. Therefore, F2 is equal to I1 L as it is, B2 whatever the value of B2 we got, substitute that is mu naught by 4 pi 2 I2 divided by d into sine 90 again. Therefore, equation becomes F2 is equal to mu naught by 4 pi 2 I1 I2 L divided by d. So both the forces, that is F1 as well as F2, both are same. Then the force per unit length, therefore that will be given by F is equal to, or we can say it is F divided by L is equal to mu naught by 4 pi 2 I1 I2 L divided by d, then whole divided by L it is. So L get cancels, therefore our equation F is equal to mu naught by 4 pi 2 I1 I2 divided by d. So this is what the force between the two parallel conductors, and from this equation it is clear that the force per unit length between two long straight parallel conductors, they are carrying current, that will be directly proportional to the product of a current, and it is inversely proportional to the distance between the two conductors, it is distance between the two parallel conductors. Similarly, one more observation is there, that is if the current is flowing in the conductors in the same direction, that is parallel currents, then the two conductors, they will attract each other. If the current flowing in the conductor, that is in opposite direction or anti-parallel currents, then the two conductors, they will start to repel each other. So our case is both the currents are having they are moving in a parallel direction or the parallel current, so both the conductors, they will start to attract. Then we're going to discuss regarding one more part, that is the definition of ampere. So to get the definition of ampere, already we have discussed the force per unit length between two parallel conductors which are separated by a distance d and it is carrying the current I1 and I2. That general equation will be given by F is equal to mu naught by 4 pi to I1 I2 divided by d. Suppose if I1 and I2 both are equal to 1 ampere and the distance d is equal to 1 meter, then our F becomes only mu naught by 4 pi. That mu naught by 4 pi value is nothing but 10 to the power of minus 7 into 2 as it is. I1 is 1, I2 is also 1 divided by d is 1. So all the values we have substituted and we get the value as it is 2 into 10 to the power of minus 7 Newton per meter. So 1 ampere, that will be defined as it is the constant current which will be maintained in each of the two infinitely long straight conductors which are having a negligible area that will be placed 1 meter apart in an empty space. Then it will be experiences a force of 2 into 10 to the power of minus 7 Newton per meter length. So when the two parallel conductors, they are separated at a distance of 1 meter apart, then that will experiences a force of 2 into 10 to the power of minus 7 Newton meter. That is called as the ampere. That is the definition of ampere. So next we are going to discuss regarding what is a torque on a rectangular current loop in an uniform magnetic field. So for that we have to consider a diagram. In this case, we have considered one rectangular loop PQRS which is placed in an uniform magnetic field. Let alpha be an angle between the plane of a loop and the direction of the magnetic field. Wherever the direction of magnetic field is there and the plane, that PS as well as B. Just to observe in the diagram, PS and the B, the red mark it is given, there it is an alpha angle. So the alpha is the angle between the plane of a loop and the direction of the magnetic field, and the axis of the loop is perpendicular to the magnetic field. Entire axis of the loop is perpendicular to the magnetic field. Let I call it as this PQ and this PQ as well as RS. These are the length of a rectangular loop, and QR as well as PS, they will become a breadth of the rectangular loop. Therefore, area is equal to the length into breadth, that will be PQ into QR. Net I is the current which flows in the loop in the direction PQRS. Just to observe the arrow marks over there, the current which is flowing through the PQRS direction, then it will experiences a magnetic force, and that magnetic force along the loops that will be getting. So the first magnetic force, that is F1, which will be acting over QR. Therefore, force acting on QR is equal to, we can write it as it is F1. So according to the equation, F is equal to ILB sine theta. In that form only we are writing this. That is F1 is equal to I as it is, and the length is LB is nothing but, here we can take it as it is QR. QR is the value because that force is acting along the loop, that is QR cross B. That is, however, we have taken that ILB sine theta form, that is I cross B. So same thing here. Therefore, the magnitude of F1, that will be given as I as it is QR. QR is nothing but it is the breadth of the rectangular loop. So instead of QR, we have substituted breadth B into this capital B into sine theta. Instead of sine theta, here we have taken that as a alpha. So it is a cross product, therefore it is IBB sine alpha we are getting. And this force is acting downward direction. So in just diagram you can observe that QR, the F1 force which is acting in a downward direction. Similarly, the force which is acting over exactly opposite to that is PS. On PS, that F2 is equal to, we can write it as it is I, and the distance, that is a the rectangular loop, that is PS cross B. Therefore, the magnitude of this F2 is equal to, again I, PS is the breadth again, so B, and the capital B into sine alpha, and this force which is acting upwards. So both the forces, they are having equal magnitude as well as an opposite in direction, and they are acting along the axis. Therefore, there will be no torque will be produced, both will cancel each other. Therefore, the forces will also 0 and the entire torque becomes 0. Remember here, both the forces here, they are having equal magnitude, opposite direction, and they are acting along the axis. Therefore, the total torque becomes 0. Therefore, this entire force will be vanish out. Only the left out term is the PQ as well as RS terms. Now, the force acting on the PQ, that will be given by F3. So that F3 is equal to I as it is. The length is the PQ cross B we have taken. Therefore, our F3, the magnitude of the force F3 is equal to ILB sine alpha. Here alpha is equal to 90 degree because it is a perpendicular to the magnetic field. Therefore, F3 is equal to, it is ILB sine 90 we are getting. Therefore, F3 is equal to ILB because sine 90 is 1. Similarly, the fourth force, that is force acting on RS, that will be given by F4 is equal to I of RS cross B. Again F4 is equal to, here it is again sine 90, that is ILB only we are getting. Here both the forces, again they are F3 and F4 are equal as well as opposite, but they are not at all acting on the same axis, but they are having the different lines of action. Therefore, they will constitute the couple. Already in first PUC you have discussed regarding the couple. Couple is nothing but the two equal and opposite forces which are acting on the different lines of action. Then with the help of this different lines of action, the loop that will start to rotate in an anti-clockwise direction about the axis of the loop. Don't get confused here. Here F3 and F4, they will not cancel with each other because however they are equal and opposite, but they are not at all acting along the axis. They are acting along different lines of action. Therefore, they will constitute the couple, and because of the couple, the entire loop starts to rotate in an anti-clockwise direction, and the further part we can write that will develop the torque. Therefore, torque on the loop, that torque is nothing but force into the perpendicular distance. So the force is nothing but either of the force. Both the forces are same, ILB we have taken. So either of the force we have to take. Into perpendicular distance is nothing but the arm of the couple. Just you go through with the second diagram, there can observe the arm of the couple. Therefore, arm of the couple, we can write it as it is cos alpha is equal to ST divided by PS, or ST is equal to, it is PS cos alpha. Therefore, ST is equal to, PS is nothing but the breadth, B cos alpha we have taken. Therefore, torque toe is equal to, it is ILB cross B cos alpha, or we can write it as it is IAB cos alpha itself, because length into breadth will gives you area. Therefore, IAB cos alpha we have taken. When the plane of the loop, it is parallel to the direction of the magnetic field, means whenever alpha is equal to 0, at that time torque toe is equal to, it is IAB cos alpha. So cos alpha becomes a 0. So cos 0 is 1, then torque toe is equal to IAB. In this case, when the plane of a loop which is exactly parallel to the direction of magnetic field, it will experiences a maximum torque here. And when it will be perpendicular, that is alpha is equal to 90 degree, then the plane of the loop that is perpendicular to the magnetic field, then the torque toe is equal to ILB cos 90. Cos 90 is a 0, therefore then it will be experiences a minimum value of the torque. And if theta, that is the angle between the direction of the magnetic field and the normal which is drawn to the plane of a paper, just you can observe this also in diagram, the theta. If theta, it is the angle between the direction of magnetic field and the normal which is drawn to the plane of a paper, then we can say it is theta plus alpha is equal to 90 degree, or alpha is equal to, it is 90 minus theta. Therefore, our cos alpha is equal to, it is cos of 90 minus theta, that will gives you sin theta itself. Therefore, torque toe is equal to, we can write it as it is ILB cos alpha, or we can write it as torque toe is equal to, it is ILB, instead of cos alpha we have to substitute it as cos of 90 minus theta, that will gives you sin theta. When the plane of a loop is perpendicular to the direction of B, that is theta is equal to 0, therefore torque toe is equal to, it is IAB sin 0, or we can say the torque toe is equal to 0. Or for a rectangular loop, if it is having n number of turns, then torque toe is equal to, we can write it as it is NIAB cos alpha, or torque toe is equal to, it is NIAB sin theta. In both the forms we can write this equation in the form of cos alpha also, or in the form of sin theta also. Okay.